1,
2,
3, let's go!
Hello everybody, welcome to today's class. I'm so happy to have you here, and well, today we're going to cover the topic profit, the bottom line. Are you ready to learn more about it? Let's go. While marketers have many roles, ultimately their role is to drive the profitability of a company. Profit is the money you have left over from sales after taking out all costs and taxes. Most companies are owned by the stock-owning public. When people buy stock, it is because they expect the value of the stock to increase and therefore make them more money. Stock grows as the value of the company grows, which occurs as a result of sales increases and, even more importantly, profit growth. Marketers are constantly struggling to find the maximum profitability for their brands. The price determines the quantity you will sell, and the quantity you make determines your price per item. Something you have to keep in mind is that generally your price per item decreases as the quantity increases. Maximum profitability is found where the marginal revenue from each item sold is equal to or greater than the marginal cost of an item. In simpler terms, profit increases as long as you can make more revenue from selling an additional item that it costs to make it. While that sounds simple, in a competitive market, maximizing sales and price can be very difficult to achieve. Competitors are forcing you to lower your prices as they attempt to push your sales down. Most brands never reach their maximum profitability, or if they do, it is a very temporary event in a constantly evolving marketplace. So, how can we increase profits? There are two basic ways to increase profitability: increase prices and/or cut cost. Let's talk about the first one that we mentioned before, and that's driving profits through price increases. Increasing prices when costs and sales remain steady will increase profitability, at least in the short term. But what about the longer term? In longer term, price increases tend to inspire your suppliers to increase their prices as well, causing your costs to increase. Equally, raising your prices can lead to declining sales as your competitors step in to take advantage of their pricing advantages. In very low profit margin businesses such as airlines, competitors will often follow the leader in either increasing or decreasing prices in order to minimize price as a brand selection determinant. Now, cutting costs can be an even more effective way of increasing profitability. You'll recall from previous videos that the 80s was the era of the low-cost producer. Manufacturers, led by their finance departments, looked for inefficiencies throughout the manufacturing, shipping, and storage systems. They looked for ways to decrease manufacturing costs, which led to manufacturing being moved from North America and Europe into China or India, or any other country with relatively low manufacturing cost. Companies relocated not just manufacturing but customer service to places such as Bangalore, India, where the population is highly educated but costs are still dramatically below world averages. There are thousands of ways to lower cost. Manufacturers in North America and Europe have recently been downsizing packaging, thereby selling less product for the same or higher prices. How many grams of Kellogg's Corn Flakes are in a box? I don't know, and chances are you don't either. If Kellogg's decides to lower the amount they sell us by 10 grams, chances are no one would notice, especially if they leave it in the same size box. Eventually, they could introduce new smaller or thinner packaging, and again, we probably wouldn't notice. Is this preoccupation with lowering costs good for us as consumers? Not always, but we all do like paying as little as possible for products. So, our drugs are made in India and China, along with most of our electronics, clothing, and even now, our food.
That's a good deal. Say no more, fam. Let's go.
By now you've seen that pricing is more involved than figuring out how much the item cost you to manufacture and simply adding a profit margin to it. You can make more money by making more products and charging higher prices. You can make more money by making more products and charging lower prices. And you can make more money by making more products and charging both higher and lower prices. Let's take a look at the strategic side of pricing. The basic tenet of all pricing strategies is cost plus pricing. Just simply figure out how much it costs you to manufacture the item, add your marketing costs and profit, and there you have your price. This is a good starting point, but marketers need to be aware of more than just their cost. If your competition is making a good product and it costs half as much, clearly this simple model has left you down. Consumers tend to have a pretty decent idea of how much things should cost. For this reason, if you look at an entire category of goods, you'll generally find that the prices of the various brands then vary by more than 10%. That's what we call expectation pricing. When you price according to competitors' prices and not necessarily what consumers expect, it is called competitive alignment pricing. Most product categories have reasonably similar prices among all competitors. A loss leader is an item that a retailer is willing to lose money on in order to increase foot traffic in their shop. For example, when you see Pampers on sale at very low prices, you know the retailer is trying to encourage young families to shop at the store and is willing to lose money on the purchase of Pampers because they believe they will make up that loss and make a respectable profit on the entire shopping visit. Typical loss leaders include milk, orange, butter, beer, and razors. Once a consumer likes the handle, they'll keep buying the blades. Bait and switch describes the questionable practice of advertising a particular product at a very low price, and then when the customer arrives at the store, salespeople try to persuade them to make a different, more expensive purchase. It is certainly unethical, and in the US it is illegal, but since it is nearly impossible to effectively regulate, it is a fairly common practice, especially among car dealers, that advertise one particular car at a price just to increase foot traffic among people who probably won't have the opportunity to even see the car. Pricing communicates. What's the difference between a relatively cheap bottle of sparkling wine from California that you or I might buy at a local supermarket and an extremely expensive bottle of crystal champagne? The answer is expectations. The same is true for Starbucks. Particularly in the US, before Starbucks, coffee was an absolute commodity selling at cost prices. Starbucks made us appreciate coffee again, and we are willing to pay high prices for the privilege. How much is certain item worth? Quite simply, it is worth as much as someone is willing to pay for it. Bid pricing gets you to exactly what people are willing to pay for an item. Auction websites such as eBay sell just about anything and allow customers to determine a product's worth. The price for a product that is high demand and low supply is likely to go substantially over the manufacturer's recommended retail price. For example, front row seats to a U2 concert might sell for a relatively reasonable price at the box office. However, if the show is sold out, or it's during a holiday weekend, or their latest album has just won some major awards, then that seat may be worth 5 times the original box office value. Auction websites, where legal, allow you to get the full value of the item as determined by the buyer.
You give me back the sock, and I'll give you 3 wishes.
Make it 5.
4.
3. Take it or leave it.
Finally, it is in a marketer's self-interest to sell you as much as possible. So, some marketers will bundle multiple products together to encourage you to buy more of their offerings. For example, Time Warner is primarily a cable provider, but they also sell home security, internet telephone, pay-per-view movies, as well as magazines and movies. By signing up for cable TV, phone, and home security, consumers are given a bundle price that is the equivalent of getting the home security for free. Hey, that is the end of the class. Thank you so much for joining me. And remember that our next topic is creating customer value. If you want to know more about that, please stay tuned. Let's keep on sharing and learning. See you soon.